Welcome to part 3 of Beginner's Revit course. Let's continue where we left off. Let's adjust the 3D view to the front perspective. Click on Model in Place under the Component heading in the Architecture tab, and then click on Generic Models. As you may have noticed, the command interface here is different. First, press the Set command to set the surface you want to draw on. Select Pick a Plane and click on the desired surface. Get back to the front view. Then select the extrusion command and start drawing. After draw around the upper floor mass, we can use the move command to offset this edge 50 cm to the right. Alternatively, we can change the reference number value that appears when we click on the line. Another alternative is to use the offset command. For this, you enter the value you want to offset. Since we want this line to be moved in this situation, we close the Copy tab and then we just click. If the Copy tab were open, it would have copied another one of the same line at the specified distance, as you can see. Let's offset this part by 200 centimeters as well. Once confirmed, our mesh is created. Let's quickly change its material. We can play with the form of this mesh as we wish. Extrude 50 centimeters from here. And 200 centimeters from this part. Press the escape key a few times. As you can see, we are still inside the generic models until you click on the finish model. Click on void extrusion from the create section. This command will allow you to create a void inside the mesh you have drawn. Press set, then select pick a plane and define the surface you want to draw on. Adjust your view and then draw the outline of the surface we want to create a void on. Come over the line with offset command. Select all lines at once with the tab key and then offset them. Let's align the left edge to the side using the align command. You can see the gap you created when you exit the command and confirm. I'm extended the gap from end to end. To lower the walls that appear on the ceiling, click Finish Model and exit the generic models. I think you remember how we shortened the walls. Also, we can hide these level lines. I see an incorrect dimension here. Let's fix it right away. Clicking on our mesh and clicking Edit in Place will put us back inside the Generic Models command. Yes, this area needs to be at the same level as our floor. Let's use the Align and the Offset commands. It looks fixed now. Let's go back to the Create section and click on Extrusion again. This time, let's create a mesh for our other module. Determine the surface on which will we draw. Let's draw the parameter. And then offset the left edge by 50 centimeters. Make the same material as our other mesh. Align the surfaces. Extend this area by 150 centimeters. Then let's create a void extrusion from the Create section. Adjust the surface which will we draw on. Adjust the thickness so that it's 50 centimeter each. As you can see, the shape of our mesh is starting to take form. Actually, I can merge the void part with the surface here. Of course, we will need to create openings for the windows later. Following the same steps, we should create void extrusion and set our surface. However, the windows in the back are not visible. Switch to wireframe mode so we can select the windows frames. Open thin line again for a more comfortable drawing. Then copy the other windows onto the other windows, referencing the corner point. Also, if you want to copy more than once, the multiple tab must be open. We can bring it back to a realistic appearance. We can also copy the windows from the master bedroom before making the window openings here. Then we will repeat the steps we just did. Edit in place. Create. Void extrusion. Set. Draw the edges of the windows. and then copy to the other side. Yes, it really looks good on the facade from an aesthetic point of view. I like it. We need to fix the flooring here. Let's open our section box again and bring it to a level to see the floor. After clicking Edit Boundary, delete these unnecessary lines and then join them with the Trim tool. Since the mess we designed overlaps with the floor, we need to create a gap again. Create, void extrusion, set, key plane. I'm switching between surfaces with the tab key and then defining the boundaries for the opening I will create from the level 2 floor plan. You need to struggle like this sometimes. Even a very simple process can take an excessive amount of time. But I want you not to give up, especially in these parts. It is this effort that will develop you. There is no one right way to draw. I ask you to try every method that comes to mind. Look, going to the section came to our mind, and it turned out to be a very easy solution. We need one more extrusion for the stairs. Yes, we can see it now. You will gradually become more proficient as long as you invest your time and effort. I believe in you. I want to draw a temporary floor here to ensure visual continuity. Don't forget to leave a gap for the building foundation on the ground, otherwise the floors will overlap. Now we can create the railing. We are coming to the level 2 floor plan. Since we have drawn everything by referencing, we no longer need to see the level 1 floor plan. Let's click on the railing section from the architecture tab. You will see that a sketch mode has opened again. I recommend using pick lines when drawing. To avoid errors with the railing command, we need to draw it along a single line without any gaps. Here's an example. The railing has a thickness, and the selected line starts exactly from the middle. So after selecting the pick lines, let's enter an offset value of 5 centimeters. Or maybe even 10. Actually, I didn't like the railing types provided by Revit, so I will use my own railing type. Simple, stylish, and aesthetic railing. Don't worry, if you are a subscriber to techarchitect, you will be able to use all the materials and the furnishings used in this project, as I'll be sharing a special file link with my subscribers. I realized that we haven't created an opening for the window in the living room. Let's do it right away. I think you are now familiar with these steps. Edit in place, create void extrusion, set, wireframe. You can adjust the appearance style from here to whichever one suits you better. The upper mess needs to be supported with columns from an static point of view. To do this, click on the mess and then click Edit in place. Open the level 2 plan. Create extrusion. Let's draw a 60 by 60 column and copy it to the other side using the mirror command. The material should be the same as the exterior walls. And we can use the align command for the easier alignment. In the part 4, we are going to design the site plan.